Hello, my name is Corinna and welcome to my channel. Me and Stacy from Let's Cook Y'all decided to do a cooking collab together. We decided to stick with a crock pot meal because it is winter and it is cold and I just think a crock pot meal is perfect for this time of year. Stacy is a very sweet friend of mine. She is a Christian and at this stage of her life it is just her and her husband together at home. So quite a few of Stacy's videos will be just cooking for her and her husband. If she does a bigger portion, then she takes and she freezes it for future meals. Stacy also does grocery hauls. She does vlogs. She does all kinds of stuff. So make sure that you go check her out. I will have her channel linked in the description and I will also have her collab video linked in the description so that you can hop on over to her channel after you've watched mine and you can grab her recipe as well. If you are here from Stacy's channel, welcome. I am so glad you are here. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, and that way you won't miss any of my videos that are coming out and you can become a part of this community as well. We have a really good community here. The crock pot recipe that I'm doing today is from Taste of Home magazine, and it is called Festive Slow Cook Beef Tips. Now normally you can do these in a slow cooker, but I have a Fagor multi-cooker, which is basically the same as an Instant Pot. I have a video that goes into more detail on my Fagor multi-cooker and I will have that video linked below as well if you want to check it out, and I really break it down and tell you what, different things that it has and the different features that it has. What I am doing with this recipe is I'm going to cook it from beginning to end in my multi-cooker, and it makes it so much simpler, and you are literally just cooking in one pan. You do not have a whole bunch of dishes in your kitchen when you are finished with this recipe. This recipe is very flavorful and delicious. So let me show you how I make this dish. Okay, the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of canola oil, but I am going to use 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Because I am cooking this all in the same pot, I want the good stuff. I am going to turn my multi-cooker, Fagor multi-cooker, onto brown. And get that heating up before I add the ingredients. Okay, we just bought steak. You can do any kind of steak, honestly, and we just chunked it up, cut it up. And the recipe calls for 1 boneless beef chuck roast. So I'm gonna put that in the pan. It also says in the recipe to do it in batches, but I don't because my multi-cooker is so large, I can get away with just doing it all at once, and I don't have to worry about doing it in batches. Okay, it says to salt and pepper. And I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to add a little bit of the Montreal steak seasoning. Just to add a little bit more flavor into it. Okay, I do not make sure that this is cooked all the way through because it is going to go, you're going to switch it to crock pot mode or put it in your crock pot and it's going to finish cooking throughout the day anyway. So I have it almost browned, you can see that. So I'm going to take a bowl and I'm going to put the meat in the bowl. And I'm going to set this aside to start my next step. Okay, so now that I have the meat sitting out in the bowl, I'm going to stop my cooker and I'm going to come over to saute. I'm going to get it on the saute mode. Okay, so it's switching over to saute. So let's saute up the vegetables. Okay, the recipe calls for 1 medium onion, coarsely chopped, and 1 celery rib, coarsely chopped. So I went ahead and did that. I'm gonna add that right into the pot. We're gonna get those sauteing in the juices, and the olive oil is in here. And that's why I use the olive oil with the multi-cooker, so that I don't have to switch out, you know, dump out oils and mess with it. So it says to cook and stir your vegetables for about 6 to 8 minutes or until tender. You can see that there's seasonings in here from the bottom of the pan, and it's picked up the seasonings that I added to the pan. Okay, the veggies are getting tender, so I'm going to go ahead and add the garlic. I'm going to do the minced garlic. You need, woo, it's overflowing. You need 6 cloves of garlic. Stir that in, and you can see that the juices and the oil have just kind of soaked up into those vegetables. So it's not going to be juicy when you add everything to it. You know, I mean extra juice. Okay, at this point you're going to add your beef broth. It says 2 cups of beef broth and 1.5 cups of dry red wine. I do not use the wine just because we don't like that flavor that, you know, gets into the meal. So I'm using 3.5 cups of beef broth. Give that a stir and get all the little bits off the bottom. I'm keeping it on saute because you need to bring this up to a boil, so it stays on the saute mode on your multi-cooker. Okay, you're going to add a sprig of fresh rosemary. I want a bigger one. Yeah, just pop that down in there. Then you're going to add 1 bay leaf. Put that in there. Stir this around a little bit, get them in that sauce and start flavoring that sauce. And I'm going to wait for it to come up to a boil. And then I'm going to cook it for 8 to 10 minutes or until liquid is reduced to about 2 cups. Okay, this has been boiling away for 8 minutes. My timer is just about ready to go off. You'll hear it in about 30 seconds. But if you were using a slow cooker, your beef would actually be sitting in your slow cooker, and you would be doing this, I think on the stove is where you're going to do this, and then you're going to pour this over your beef in the slow cooker. But because I don't have to do that and this is a multi-cooker, I am just going to add the beef back into the broth. There's my timer. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add this very, very carefully into this broth because it is hot. Okay, at this point I'm going to go ahead and I am going to stop the saute mode. You are going to use 2 cans of 4 ounces each of mushrooms, and you're going to add it to your dish. I wish you could smell this. With that rosemary, the bay leaf, all the seasonings, the onions, the garlic, oh my goodness. This smells so fantastic. Okay, you are going to set your slow cooker, which I'm going to do slow cook. I'm going to go to low. And I'm going to do mine on, I'm going to do 6 hours. You can do 6 to 8. I'll see you back here in 6 hours. Okay, it has been 6 hours, so we are going to make the gravy. So you need a 1/2 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, I have a whisk. I'm going to whisk this a little bit. And then a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. whisk this together. And then we are going to whisk it into the broth in the crock pot. And you are going to want to remove the rosemary sprig and the bay leaf. So you got to fish those out and take them out of, there's the sprig right there. And then the bay leaf is somewhere in here. There it is. Ooh, it's hot. Be careful. And then what you do is you make egg noodles for this to go over, and I will show you that as soon as I get them put on in our bowls. I hope that you give this dish a try, and I can guarantee you and your family are going to like it as much as we do, and you're going to add it to your recipes just like I added it to my recipes. I love how versatile it is. If you have a multi-cooker or if you have a crock pot, you can do it in either one, and I think that's great. Don't forget to go on over to Stacy's channel and check out her collab video and see the recipe that she has made. I'll talk to you later. Have a wonderful day.